Freeport, I'm Amani Brooks, and welcome back to Fighting for Freeport News for Sunday, August 16th. Tonight, we're following new developments in the Traviante Berry case after another court appearance this past week. We'll also have the latest on the investigation surrounding Steve Cassell, as questions remain about where that case currently stands. And with the first day of school just days away, we want to remind families to be sure to take a look at Ethan's Generation Next segment from last week with upcoming dates as students across Freeport prepare to head back to the classroom.
We're also looking ahead. The response to our First Generation Next Back to School giveaway has been incredible, and Ethan Cross is already preparing for what's next to bring a much-needed community-wide focus on our youth. We are also putting together our September Community Birthday shoutouts, so Fighting for Freeport Insiders, visit the Insider homepage and submit the September birthdays you'd like us to recognize. And tomorrow night, attention turns back to Freeport City Hall, where two important matters we've been following are scheduled to come before the City Council.
There's a lot happening across our community, and we'll get you caught up on all of it. But we begin tonight at City Hall. Here's Brian Keller with For the People.
Good evening. I'm Brian Keller, and we're here
For the People. Monday's Freeport City Council Committee of the Whole meeting lasted just 46 minutes, but taxpayers learned that Freeport's 5-year road plan could be changing again. The city has promoted a street improvement plan running from 2025 through 2029, identifying specific streets, years, and millions of dollars in improvements. Now, officials are considering putting the planned 2027 program on hold to prioritize Walnut Avenue and Cottonwood Street instead. Walnut is currently estimated at around $5 million, with Cottonwood another $2.6 million. Alderman-at-Large Joy Sellers said she could support the change, but wanted the city to return to the original plan afterward. Then 3rd Ward Alderwoman Rachel Simmons said the quiet part out loud. When officials discussed grant funding and the possibility of acquiring homes along Walnut, Simmons reminded them what happened when property acquisition affected residents in her ward.
So my question is, with the grant, because it seems as though we can all agree that Walnut Street is a very busy street. It impacts pretty much everyone that drives or travels here. So if there's a grant that would pay for it and also cover the purchase of the homes, everyone on this floor laughed. However, when that was the case within the 3rd Ward, you saw interest and you went for it.
Pointing to an uncomfortable difference. When acquiring and demolishing homes affected residents in her 3rd Ward, the city was willing to pursue that option. Now, when the discussion involves Walnut Avenue, the idea drew laughter. City Manager Rob Boyer responded that federal money would require Freeport to build to federal standards. And that's fair. Federal money comes with federal requirements. But taxpayers still deserve the numbers. What would each option cost? How much would federal funding cover? And which option ultimately gives taxpayers the better road for their money? Council also discussed the proposed 10-year license agreement covering approximately 185 acres at Albertus Airport. The city says allowing 2 local contractors to produce hay while maintaining the property could avoid about $18,500 a year in city expenses. But Fairgraham's Darren Steekel also disclosed that the airport manager is currently maintaining the property. So, before this agreement comes back for a 2/3 majority vote, taxpayers deserve to know exactly where those projected savings come from, particularly after taxpayers have already invested in equipment to maintain airport grounds. You can read my full breakdown of Monday night's meeting right now at fightingforfreeport.com. I'm Brian Keller, reminding you that our government should be of the people, by the people, and for the people. Good night.
Before we get to crime and punishment tonight, we have an important update in a story Fighting for Freeport has been following closely for several weeks. Friday evening, we learned that the Stevenson County State's Attorney's Office has decided not to file criminal charges at this time against Lena Pastor Steve Cassell. In an email sent to Sue Niger, the state's attorney's office wrote, quote, "After carefully reviewing the available evidence, I have determined that we are unable to approve a charge of any sex crime. that decision does not necessarily mean the end of this story. Over the next week, I will be taking a much deeper look at the state's attorney's decision, the applicable Illinois law, and what would need to happen for prosecutors to reconsider the case. But tonight, let's get to the bare bones of it. According to the state's attorney's office, the evidence currently available is not sufficient to approve the appropriate criminal charge. More evidence, and potentially additional witnesses willing to come forward, could be critical, and that work is continuing. Fighting for Freeport currently has 3 additional witness or alleged victim interviews scheduled over the next 2 weeks. We will continue doing our part to make sure those individuals have an opportunity to tell their stories and, when appropriate and with their cooperation, make sure that information reaches the proper authorities. We have also received a significant number of messages since we began reporting on this story. We are working through them, but it is going to take time to speak with everyone and properly examine the information they have provided. The state's attorney's office also explained an important part of Illinois law that I think the public needs to understand. According to the office, allegations of inappropriate touching alone are not necessarily enough to establish the elements required for a sex crime charge. Prosecutors would have to be able to prove, among other required elements, that, quote, the touching was done for the purpose of sexual gratification or arousal. That distinction, and what prosecutors say is currently missing from the evidence, is something we're going to examine much more closely in the days ahead. For tonight, the bottom line is this. No criminal charges have been approved against Steve Cassell at this time, but our reporting on this story is not over. Now, from a case where prosecutors have decided there isn't currently enough evidence to file charges, to a case that's been in the court system for more than a decade, here's Sarah Collins with this week's Crime and Punishment.
From the streets of Freeport to the Stevenson County Courthouse, I'm Sarah Collins, and this is Crime and Punishment. Another court date, another continuance, and more questions in the case of Traviante Berry. Berry, who is serving a 52-year sentence for murder, appeared in Stevenson County Court Wednesday as his post-conviction challenge continues. But instead of moving forward, Berry's defense requested another continuance. The state strongly objected. The judge granted it anyway, pushing the case into November. But here's where things get interesting. 3 witnesses had been subpoenaed for Wednesday's hearing: Acadia Ishman, Malika Avery, and Gina Thomas. According to the court record, all 3 subpoenas were returned not served. And this wasn't the first attempt. Those same 3 witnesses had also been subpoenaed in May. Now, an unserved subpoena doesn't mean someone is hiding or refusing to cooperate, but Freeport isn't exactly a big city. Just days before Wednesday's hearing, Avery was with her family adopting a puppy right here in Freeport. So how difficult are these witnesses to find? There's another name we were surprised not to see on that subpoena list: former Freeport police officer Brian Pulich. Fighting for Freeport previously exposed what we believe are significant inconsistencies in Pulich's official report connected to the Berry investigation. 2 days later, Pulich retired from the Freeport Police Department. As more information emerges from recordings of the original police interviews, we're left wondering, when do these questions actually get answered and under oath? Berry's next court dates are November 4th and November 18th. We'll be watching. The question isn't whether Freeport has a crime problem. The question is, what are we going to do about it? I'm Sarah Collins, reminding you that the best way to deter crime is through fair and equal punishment. Good night.
And that's where we'll leave things tonight. Several of the stories we're following are still developing, and our team will continue working throughout the week. If there's something happening in our community you believe we should know about, reach out to Fighting for Freeport. And don't forget about Fighting for Freeport Insiders. For just $5 a month, you'll get first-look access to our newest reports and programs, along with exclusive content. Visit fightingforfreeport.com to join. And for local businesses and organizations, Fighting for Freeport now reaches more than 1 million views every month across our digital platforms. If you'd like to put your business in front of our local and growing audience, contact us about our marketing opportunities. Thank you for watching and for continuing to support what we're building. For Alex Mercer and the entire news team, I'm Imani Brooks. Remember, an informed community is a stronger community. Good night, Freeport.